Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Lines Forever. Today, I have a 5v5 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxys map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 in the west, ending with Team 2 in the east. Starting off with Team 1 Southern player, working our way northward, we have in Chevy Crimson, the Cyber Commander of the Simca. He is in 1800. To his northeast in Forest Green, we have the Aeon Commander of Literal. He is a 1500. In the middle of the lineup here for Team 1, we have in Tropical Ocean Blue, it's coming home as a Cybern. He is a 2000 rated player, the highest rated player on Team 1. In Light Oak 10 to his north is another Aeon for Team 1. It is Chicken Rayaba. He is a 1600. And in the northwest corner of the map here for Team 1, rounding out their lineup, we have another Aeon for his team. He is RNA. He is a 1600 in Royal Blue. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have 3 Aeon, 2 Cyberns. Team 1 lacks UEF and Seraphim technology. Starting off with Team 2 Southern player and working our way northward, we have in Amethyst Purple, the 1500 player of Cheerios as a UEF. To his northwest, we have is a UEF as well. It is Ermos Hafi. Probably don't say his name right. Going to call him Ers for short. He is in Ruby Red, and he is a 1500 as well. In the middle of Team 2's lineup here is the highest rated player on his team and in the game overall, beating out It's coming home by 100 points of rating. It is Azuros in Emerald Green as a Seraphim, the one and only Seraphim in this game. And to his north, we have in Barbie Pink, the UEF commander of Balfron. He is a 1500. And last but not least, for Team 2 in the northeastern corner of the map here, we have Knightley as an Aeon. He is in orange, the color orange, as an 1800. So for Team 2 side of the map, we have 3 UEF, 1 Aeon, and 1 Seraphim, which means Team 2 lacks Cybern technology, and Team 1 lacks UEF and Seraphim technology. And for 10 players on the map here, let's take a look at how much reclaim they have to scoop up. Currently sitting at, drumroll please, 67,000 mass in reclaim, which means it is 6.7k mass per player. And essentially, it is all down the middle. I mean, you have a couple of hundreds or so kind of dotted around the back side of the map in terms of the eastern and the western side. But it is all down the middle. And that is why these commanders are desperately headed to the middle. We do see some transports outbound from Team 1 and Team 2, dropping off engineers, getting frontline facilities online to scoop up all of that reclaim. It looks like currently it's going to be a 2v2 in the north, a 1v1 in the middle, and a 2v2 in the south. No advantages for either team in one way or the other. Watch out for double comm, says Cheerios, talking about this southern side here to air. We do see some more transports inbound here from It's Coming Home. The engineer will get caught by that Tham. There it is. Does get caught by that Tham. Bombers are inbound going after Set Tham. And a little bit of raiding will occur here between both of these teams. Transport with engineers inbound for Knightley. Does get to drop them. Gets 5 of them online. Going to be able to really scoop up a lot of that reclaim here quickly. There is a bomber nearby. Engineers starting to spread out. 1 bomber will be taken out. 4 more remain. And it's all going to be about how much reclaim he can grab. We do see a lot of interceptors now online for Team 2 and Team 1. They're running around the map, of course, going after all of the bombers and counter engineers, but interceptors. 2 more engineers remain. Bomber lining up the shot for another engineer. Will kill off that one. 1 remains. Team 1 PD about to finish, and with its construction will secure this middle reclaim for It's Coming Home. The PD is about to come online. The bomber has been destroyed, but it is too late for the engineer. And there goes that PD and kills off that engineer. We do see a lot of pushing here inbound from Chicken, trying to push back Knightley. Knightley dropping into the low yellow, needs to fall back here. He would be an early departure here. And we do see Chicken getting some radar systems online to be able to see what's going on closer to the front line. We do see that Battlefront is down here a little bit further south than I think he really should be. I know he has a reclaim field to grab here, but he really needs to go help his teammate because that could be a really early departure. Obviously, I highly doubt Team 1 will kill off Knightley this quickly because it would give either Battlefront or even Azuros a dual base that early in the game. could be devastating. Not necessarily, but it could be devastating. We do see in the middle, Team 2's Azura is pushing forward against It's Coming Home. Decent amount of some Team 1 units and a couple of these nice little combat scouts, those labs, pushing in against his position. He will lose all of these mexes, unfortunately, and the engineers building the other ones. Couple of units here holding position for air. We do see that Literal pushing forward as well against those forces from air. And we do see these comms here for Team 2 down here by this little pond. There are a decent amount of little ponds dotted around the map here, so players have plenty of places to hide from any sort of easy scouting that can occur by either team. I don't see the case that T2 Navy will be a thing. The only thing that could be a thing realistically could be just some cruisers sitting in a pond, or the Cyber player of Nasimka, or It's Coming Home could build some Salems, but that would be very risky. Essentially, you would just have a line of Salems walking very, very slowly. I don't think that's a great idea, especially with Team 2 having UEF tech. They could easily just bombard those things. So probably not a good idea. We do see that gun damage and range has been started for Battlefront, going for Nano immediately. And these two commanders in the south, both Nasimka and Literal, going for their gun upgrades. One, of course, has the unfortunate disadvantage of having the speed and range be two different upgrades, but the Aeon commanders do get the advanced range upgrade, so able to outrange all of the other commanders in the range department. And that speed upgrade will finish. Go for range. Yep, there it is. Range upgrade does start. Counter gun damage range has been started for Ed, and it does look like Cheerios is falling back, at least to this quad mech position, which I did not go over the mech positions in this map. I do apologize for that. I completely slipped my mind. I think the reclaim thing kind of got ahead of me, and I started talking about the harassment. But just briefly talk about it. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 quad mech positions that I can see easily. It's kind of a 5-star mech position. There is another 4-star mech, a quad mech position, if I can speak correctly, in the middle here for a 0. So I'd say, and there's another one here, so about 6 quad mech positions with maybe 5-star mechs, and then a couple of mechs is dotted around the map here. Not really a whole lot down the middle. There are, I'd say, a handful or so down the middle here, but that's mainly in the middle of the map. Everything else is kind of just maybe a one-off or so, not really a huge threat one way or the other. But we do see that RNA pushing into Team 2's territory a little bit. Same thing here for Chicken. We do see that It's Coming Home actually diverts from the middle, goes northward, does leave an opening for Azos to push on that southern side. We do see he is using that to advantage, getting his Ilshis up and actually starting to isolate that commander of It's Coming Home. Battlefront pushing in, going after It's Coming Home's commander. Again, Battlefront has gun and nano. It's Coming Home has nothing, no veterancy, no upgrades, no nothing. This could possibly be a walk down. Killing off the highest rated player on Team 1 is a good strategy, of course. It isn't the end-all be-all, but it is a good strategy, of course, letting the guy with the most experience be the first target. We do see large Team 1 army moving in for Chicken to intercept this comm of Battlefront. Battlefront now completely overwhelmed. This is going to be a counter here, and all of those units surround that commander of Battlefront. He is not going anywhere, trying to essentially body block him. Overcharging will kill off a ton of Aurora right here. Oh, and Battlefront control case to claim the kill on Team 1's It's Coming Home. That is rough. Team 1 and Team 2 both lose a player. Team 1 loses It's Coming Home, their highest rated player, and Battlefront, I mean, he is a 1500, I wouldn't say lower rated player. He's, I mean, on the spectrum of rating, it's 1500 to 2100, so yes, he's on the lower half of that, but I wouldn't call him low rated at all. These are all pro players here in this game. I know that it's a bit boring, but it just makes sense. Exactly, 1500 versus a 2K. Yeah, definitely would take that trade any day of the week. That is definitely worth it in that regard. It does give a Zero's double base, but it also does give somebody on else Team 1 double base, and it does look like that goes to Chicken. We do see some red versus red combat in the south. It says, I forgive, but don't forget. I think I would prefer the opposite. The forget, but don't forgive kind of thing. We do see Nasimka with his gun upgrade facing off against Air against his gun upgrade. There are some pillars online here. And there's also some rhinos as well. Actually, these are Wagners, excuse me, not rhinos. So a little bit less DPS and hit points, but they can go in the water. Of course, the rhinos cannot. Those pillars trying to hold off. Another overcharge kills off a couple more units. Air almost close to his 2-star veteran, so he'd be able to pin that other star to his chest plate or in his control station or wherever he sits exactly. I know he sits in the head, but I don't really remember what it looks like inside of the comm. For me, if anybody's watched the anime, and if you haven't watched it, I would recommend going watch it. It's called 86. Really, really, really good anime. Cost of War, all that sort of thing. Really, really good. One of the characters essentially just goes into a small room that has a bunch of screens. That's kind of what I imagine the comm essentially station inside of the ACU to look like. Essentially, he's in a chair, and there's just a bunch of screens around him. Maybe he has some orbital satellite or something that can give him some essentially what we see kind of thing. I'm assuming there's some lore about it. I don't really know about it. That's just kind of what I imagine that to be in my mind. We do see a gun advanced range coming online here for Literal. Going to be able to snipe at his opponents a little bit more effectively. Maybe he'll go for shield. He is probably going to be pushing a little bit into Team 2's territory. Definitely needs some additional hit points, especially with Azuros inbound here with a decent amount of Ilshis. He is the only player in the game that has these units. So he's going to use that to his advantage. Is getting some parashields as well. These Seraphim do not have T2 mobile shielding. They have T3 though, so better shielding overall, but later access to it. And these Ilshis are going to start roaming the battlefield, wiping all these units out. Unfortunately, they do encounter some Loyalists though. The Loyalists do have EMP weapons. They are a great counter to most T2 units in that regard. Unfortunately, the Ilshis output so much damage that, yeah, Loyalists can EMP them for a little bit, but I mean, if you have enough Ilshis, it's not going to matter. We do see that Azuros has now claimed this quad mix position. And in the north, looks like the kind of attack is really shifted from the north to the south, just due to the fact that Azuros is also down here. And Chicken sent most of his forces to intercept Battlefront's commander. We do see that RNA sitting over here next to some wall sections, hanging out, just building a wall up there. And we do see T2 coming online for Nightly in his position. Probably will start PD creeping ever so slightly. Maybe he's just going to be more of a defensive side of things. He could be another air player here for his team. Looks like he's just going to be, I think, more of a land. He's already got T3 land online. We do see that in the southeast, Team 2's air player is Cheerios. And Team 1's air player is going to be RNA, and he's expanding that out as we speak. Is there a secondary air player? No, that's T3 land, pumping out bricks, pumping out harbingers, and pumping out bricks as well. Team 1's Literal being pushed back by these Ilshis. Did go for that shield upgrade. That's 8,000 additional hit points. Without that, he'd already be at 6,000 or so hit points on the commander. Definitely needed that. There are, of course, some blazes underneath some shield coverage, and most of these units inbound for Zeros. I mean, still punching forward, but they're losing numbers quite quickly here. And now we see that RNA starting, it's not RNA, Literal kind of dipping between the shields. We do see some lightning takes online, and we do see that Azuros' commander is on the front lines, not moving. T2 online, gun, of course, online, getting overcharges constantly out here. There are some bricks inbound. Azuros should be fine. He might lose his shield emitter, which he just did. Overcharge will kill off that first brick, 2 more en route, and a third one behind that. And Literal does go down to that pressure from Azuros. He's killed off he killed off another player on Team 1 side of the map, dropping it to a 4v3 in favor of the eastern team of Team 2. Azuros does start to just fall back ever so slightly. Those bricks actually not willing to engage Azuros' commander, moving northward. We do see some PD now being kind of PD creeping here, and he's sending an engineer pretty deep into Team 1's territory, just going after mexes, it looks like. That is one way to take out mexes, is just send a bunch of PD, or send a bunch of engineers to build PD to kill off the mexes. It's a lot faster than trying to claim them. I mean, if you tried to capture them, you'd at least get the mass income, but it takes forever to capture stuff in this game. Team 1 isn't bad, but anything above that, way too long. Absolutely way too long. I feel like if they cut that time down a little bit more, maybe we could see some tricky plays with just sending engineers and claiming an entire base. That would be interesting, to say the least, but I highly doubt they're going to do that, or the developers will. We do see T3 units for the Harbinger department here for Chicken, just bulldozing through Azuros' forces. There are some Titans online for him. Needs to get those Perseus, though. Unfortunately, the Titans against the Harbingers are not a great fight. It doesn't help that the shield isn't online as well, so he's missing, I think it's 750 for the Titans. That doesn't help. I think he has some power issues now that he, of course, is just expanding out as fast as possible. In the south, Red versus Red. Air being bombarded by Wagner, Brick, and Nasimka's Calm. Nasimka has Nano online. This will be a kill here for Team 1, dropping it to a 3v3 now at 17 minutes. And this base will most likely go to Cheerios because he's right next door. It could go to Azuros. I highly doubt it. He's microing and you know, forced here in the middle. He probably wants to keep his attention here. He's drawing a lot of attention from Team 1, so probably wants to keep it there. It does go to Azuros. I don't think it will stay with him. Maybe he'll take part of the base and give the rest over to Cheerios. I don't know. I just feel like it'd be a lot easier to micro that if Cheerios is commander, you know, he's right there. And yeah, Cheerios has air and he's focusing on that. I get that, but I don't know. There is something to be said about sharing the love with mass income, with other bases, with other teammates, but there is something to be said about just having one player have all of it to scale even faster. There's arguments for both. Now the shield online here for Azuros. Got his power situation back online. Ilshi is online. He's just going for fire rate, fire rate, fire rate with these units. Essentially the T2 version of the Titan minus the shield is the Ilshi. You can see those Harbingers just not necessarily struggling to stay online, but just getting shot constantly. We do see that there was a couple of units. Now they're still over here for Team 1's Nasimka, just raiding a couple of the mexes. This one almost upgraded to T3. This one on its way to T3, but it's been paused currently. That's Otham not engaging. And that mex will most likely be taken offline. That's going to hurt because it was almost a T3. 80%. That's a lot of mass and energy he is not getting back from that. And obviously the mass that he's losing per second from the mechs being taken offline. That also doesn't help. We're seeing a large buildup here of T3 forces in the middle, in the north middle, and the actual middle. Lots of bricks and lots of Harbingers. I would like to see these two join forces. They are very good at just pumping out damage in terms of, you know, fire rate. Team 2's UEF player of, well, pseudo-new UEF player at this point of Azuros. I do see those Perseus online. He is getting that the best T3 unit in the game by far. And now we can see kind of the detriment of not giving this base over to Cheerios. Cheerios, of course, is doing decently well, holding off a fire base down here. But now, since the micro of Nasimka is right here, he's focusing a lot of his attention right here, able to punch in to Azuros' new position a lot more effectively than if Cheerios was here to micro that a little bit better. But again, that's my opinion. Take it with what you will. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with my opinion or not. Because, of course, I am, and most of the time, not always, but most of the time, I am wrong about things. It's just the nature of the beast and that sort of thing. T2 air online, so Nasimka could dip his toes into air. And, of course, T3 air being expanded upon by both of the air players. We haven't seen a huge air fight as of yet. We're only 20 minutes in the game, so ASF numbers aren't going to be that strong. Grass has been started for RNA. So I expect to maybe see 25 or so minutes we'll see an air fight, especially since all of these ASFs are sitting here. Gunships coming online now. Cheerios going to fight back in that department. There is a decent amount of mobile AA, though. A couple of T3s right here. We see a couple of Wagners in the water, going to avoid the sight lines of the PD in this base, which there actually aren't any PD. Oh, no, there's a couple in there. We do see some bricks, though. Those are going to be the huge help here for him, staving off some of that brick damage, but those bricks will overwhelm him unless he gets support. And you can see Azuro sending a huge amount of forces southward. Team 1's Chicken takes the opportunity and steamrolls the center position here for Cheerios. Cheerios getting bombarded here. Some assistance outbound from Nasimka, but it's mainly outbound from Chicken. Azuros has fallen back quite significantly with that commander, reclaiming those mexes and rebuilding them, of course. Looks like those Wagners were eventually taken out, but multiple mexes were taken offline before he was able to do anything about it. Now we see a resurgence of this army here for Azuros, so while his middle is collapsing, the south looks like it will start to collapse with all of these forces from Nasimka being pushed forward to try to punch through Cheerios' position. He's out of position with these units. Some of them will make it back to base before, but there's a decent amount of Autumns in this mix. I do see a couple of Percys a little bit lagging behind. Tons of Ilshis and a couple of Titans. There are PD being built and obviously have already been built. And Team 2, it's going to be a decent land army engagement. I will split things because there are essentially two different major land incursions happening. In the north, we do see that the forces from Knightley falling back to intercept, but it's going to take a while to catch up. Even if they do at this point, the Harbinger is the fastest T3 unit. This is the mainline units in the game, so that's going to be hard-pressed to catch up to those units. Unless, well, he has Harbingers, then they walk at the same speed at that point. Just completely forget what I just said. Just then, Percys and Autumns punch through the defenses here for Nasimka. Those Percys are inbound, and the hit points on Nasimka are falling quite quickly here. And Nasimka is going to go down. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Team 1's going to lose another player due to that Percy snipe. And Team 1 drops the 2 players remaining, that being RNA in the north and Chicken in the middle / now south. And this force for Team 1's Chicken is crucial, trying to snipe as much eco from Team 2 as possible to give them a little bit more of the break. Airfight will commence. Lots of interceptors here, though. We'll add a lot of cannon fodder. And they do output damage. Of course, you can see how fast they rip through ASFs in that count. Team 2 loses that airfight, and that is a win for Team 1. Gunships also online here for Cheerios. Will try to stave off some of that damage, but most of that damage has occurred, and the gunships will be wiped out as well. And with this game, things have shifted quite significantly here. Team 1 sitting at 2 players left. Team 2 sitting at 3 players left. In terms of mass incomes, Team 1, 1.3k mass income. Team 2 at 800. Team 2 is suffering considerably in that department, but it wouldn't be surprised if that number comes up very quickly due to the fact that all these mixes will be rebuilt. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. Of course, if you haven't done so already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this video with your friends, family, and your pets. Comment down below about anything and everything you want to talk about. Thank you so much for watching to this point in the video, and of course, as always, you've already watched essentially halfway through. You might as well finish the match off. You got to see how it ends, right? You got to see how the episode ends. We do see that Bouncer sitting here. The broadsword does get taken out. That's a little annoying here for Cheerios. Looks like he's going to send in an engineer over here. Looks like to scoop up some reclaim, I guess. But that Bouncer might shoot down. No, it's out of range. It looks like that's fine. But look at this. Look at this huge shift in territory. Team 2 is being completely forced back. There are a lot of T2 units, a couple of T3 in the mix, but not really a whole lot of direct fire units here, which will favor Azuros. We do see a little bit of punching through defenses here for Chicken as well, but he's really coming up at stiff resistance. I don't really think this is going to work. Lots of sniper bots, though, but those Harbingers are moving in. Those sniper bots are dead. There's no hope for those. Oh, just engage. You can kill them all off very... Aww. Manly pulls his units back. Could have easily killed all those units off. At least the sniper bots, essentially. But we do see in the south, look at Azuros, just says full send it and sends everything forward. Ever since he killed off Nasimka, has not stopped on that gas pedal. Continue to send them forward. And these are all Percys here, and they can one-tap units very, very quickly here. Look at this brick. That one's dead. Units cannot be built fast enough. PD can't be built fast enough. T2 PD being built. There are a couple of Harbingers, but unfortunately, I don't think this is going to go well. The Ilshi finally taken out. Lots of Pigeons going down. A little bit of AoE because of the Pigeons are technically volatile for this Percy receiving some damage. Some of them are vetted up. A couple of 3 stars in the mix. A couple of, actually, that was a 4-star. That one's going to go down here shortly. T2 Pigeons are being targeted. Of course, Chicken has 3 bases. 3 bases? 4 bases? 4 base. Yeah, 4 bases, so lots of energy reserves. It is going up and down, though. He has to be very careful not to lose too many P-gens. We do see that the Team 1 PD being spammed up very, very quickly here. It might be enough to stave off most damage But of course, the P-Gens were the main target in this base. They're gone. And those remaining Percies will fall back and will kill a brick on their way out, though. So that's something. Team 2's Cheerio pumped out those Percies and then sending them forward in a counterattack. And this is the power of the Percy in full display. If you haven't already, of course, known that from watching my cast, I love the Percy. They are so good at taking out T3 units, taking out T4 units, taking out large groups of T2 units. T1s, they're not that great just because they fire very slowly. T1s aren't, you overkill, you do too much damage to the target, wasted damage. Another way to put it, the Percy is kind of known for that just because it fires all of its DPS in one shot, reloads, fires again. It's essentially a glorified single-shot rifle that does a lot of damage. So imagine a Barrett 50 caliber sniper rifle, except it isn't a magazine. It is a single shot. You have to, essentially a bolt action rifle. For those of you who know guns and that sort of thing. We do see a monkey was being built. That monkey is no longer going to be built because that monkey's going to be wiped out. Those bricks trying to hold off the Percies, but you can see, look at this, just wiping out hit points very quickly. No hope. Oh, actually, the brick being ignored. That's really weird. I mean, it's almost dead, so you might as well kill it off. Looks like it's going after... Oh. What are these Percies targeting? I have no idea. A couple of T2 P-Gens definitely vulnerable. E-storages, that would be very annoying to lose. T1 PD being built very, very quickly. The units, I think, just trying to get maybe to the T3 P-Gen right here. They're going for something down there. I don't know what, but Jiro's just trying to target something. Looks like the group of Percies has been dealt with for the time being. Well, okay, that doesn't help the life cycle of the Percy. That is for sure. Lots of bricks coming in to support. Colossus is inbound. Team 2, do you have a response for this? No, I don't see any experimentals for Team 2 anywhere. 3 of the 5 players on Team 2 were UEF, so they have indirect experimentals, at least land ones, that being the Fat Boy. Team 1 has all direct fire weapon experimentals, being the chicken, the monkey, and the crab. Sorry, not the chicken. Sorry, the monkey, the crab, and the Colossus. Team 2 does have a chicken in the form of Azuros' commander's chosen faction. But there is a couple of Harbingers back here going to snipe at more of that eco. And Cheerios and Arzuros really just being bombarded. Cheerios is pretty much safe in the southeastern corner, but he is a little bit vulnerable if the units decide to go south, which some of them do, but most of them head northward. So a couple of mexes will be a little bit vulnerable. Not too many, but there are a few that will probably be taken offline. That Colossus is still charging forward. The T3 support is behind quite considerably. The Percy's moving in to intercept. They will make it essentially in time, but the question is, will this Percy threat be enough to stave off the attack? I don't think so. If the Colossus were to wait, the only downside with that is gives Team 2 to buy more. Gives Team 2 to build up more defenses. But this is a Colossus. It is inbound, and it's already grabbed one of those Othams. It actually grabs a shield. That's not great. Kind of want that shield to stay online. Bombers inbound to at least soften up the shields. Here comes the Percy's from the north. Bricks moving in from the west. But look at that. Look at the DPS from these Percy's and the Othams ripping apart that Colossus. Colossus going to actually crush a couple of those Othams on its way to possibly the T3 land headquarters is probably the target. There it goes. It's crushed. We'll probably kill a couple of units in its crash damage, but that's a decent amount of mass for Azuros to scoop up. He'll probably just funnel that into a chicken at this point. I mean, you might as well. It's right there. And we see Knightley sending his forces out now. Vulnerable, the chicken front line is due to the fact that most of his forces were sent in the attack, and now is scooping up more mexes here. And it's very much a huge back and forth between these 2 to 3 mid players here for Team 1 and Team 2. Tons of restorers now being pumped up by RNA. He definitely has air control. I would say dominance. He is sitting at 18 gunships and 79 ASF, so I'd say about 100 in total in terms of, because the gunships are really good at AA. Cheerios 50, so yeah, it's kind of an air dominance territory with about being 50 or so ASFs more. But Team 2 is now winning the land game pretty heavily. We see, of course, the base down here in the south for Chicken Still Alive, the one owned by Nasimka. But those Percys moving in, going after T3 mexes here. I don't think they'll be able to deal with all of the T1 PD, though. And these units are probably just on move orders, not necessarily being microed individually. But now we see a grouping of a lot of T3 units here. Crab online, trying to stave off the attack, but that Crab is not going to feel good here now that these Harbingers are here to assist. Look at that bar just go down very quickly here. Jet single shot damage, doing so much work. All that alpha damage. Kills off 3 Percys and a couple of Harbingers. All of these units should probably be transferred over to one player. The only unfortunate thing here for Team 2 in general, for everyone actually, there's no AA. There is no mobile AA anywhere in this army right here. All these Harbingers, actually, excuse me, there is one Redeemer right here, but that's not going to be enough to deal with all the restorers. Now, luckily for Team 2, though, the air-to-ground weaponry on board, their DPS, not great. I mean, it's not great. It's something. It's not great, though. So as long as maybe they take out a Monkey, it would be worth it, but which I think they might. Monkey is going to get some veterancy from these Percys. There is a second Monkey over here, and there's the Harbingers are actually fleeing the scene, so doesn't look like they'll get the Monkey. They've done a lot of damage to it. They've dropped it into the red, so the Monkey is not really that useful now. Essentially, you just nullify it. It's not dead, but it's not really that useful. Actually, Harbingers turn around and actually kill off the Monkey. They want the damage anyway. They want the kill anyways, which is fine. But in this case, where the units, I guess, were going to be killed anyways, you might as well go for the kill. But possibly Chicken would have just control K'd it, scooped up the mass, built a new one. We do see another experimental in the north, another Colossus. Actually, there's 2 of them. Lots of Harbingers over here. Percy's just being thrown at Team 1 constantly. And again, in the case where it's T3 Percys versus T4 experimentals, depending on the amount of experimentals, those Percys will win that fight. I mean, they'll take heavy losses. In this case, where they're trickling in kind of 1 and 2, it's not great. But where they're grouped together like this, it would be definitely beneficial. Obviously, to group all the units together. Harbinger's going to assist with dealing with this Colossus. There are some Restorers inbound, and there are some gunships more from the south from these Restorers. There is a lightning tank in the mix. That Colossus is down. Second Colossus. Oh, drop it. Gets a rank in veterancy. Will stave off death for a little bit longer, but I think the crash damage might have actually killed that Colossus, I think. It just lost a ton of hit points very quickly. Could have also been the Percy fire. You know, that could have also been that. But the mass field is getting bigger and bigger by the day. 286,000 mass on the field. 75,000 right here. Another 60+ thousand right here. 25,000. Another 10,000. Tons of mass to scoop up. And it's primarily in the middle, but some of it is sitting on Team 1's side of the map. Just depends on if Team 2 can scoop it up. Lots of mass being donated to Cheerios. Makes me think he's doing something with it. And he has finished a Stoneanger T3 strategic missile launcher. Does have an SMD to protect it. And is building a shield to protect it. Love to see that. Anything being built by Team 1, their nuke is online and is half loaded. So either it will go for Team 2's nuke, if they know about it, which they do. Team 2, they know about no, they don't know about Team 1's nuke. Luckily for them, their SMD is, was it half loaded when I looked at it? It's not being assisted. I think that nuke will launch and land in time. Oh, the attack has been issued. The attack will go after this nuke over down here and go after the air grid. So Team 2 is going to lose pretty much all of their air facilities for Cheerios. Like I said, the Team 2 is in the driver's seat for the land game. Team 1 is in the driver's seat for the air game. It just depends on which field of war will collapse first, whether Team 1 loses the ground game or Team 2 completely loses the air game. And you see another experimental down here. It is a monkey escorted by a decent amount of bricks. Down here in the southwest, looks like that monkey is still alive somehow. Don't know how it hasn't been finished, but just sitting there, I guess. Large group of Titans and Percys. Not a lot of AA. A couple of Cougars in there, but when you're facing off against a lot of gunships, flak would definitely be useful in that mix as well. Go to water, says Balfron. And it looks like everybody on Team 2 is in the water. Colossus storming the walls over here. Just gets absolutely ripped apart by all of those restorers. Look at this. Not even all the restorers are engaging. There is 70 restorers going after that one Colossus and ASFs to boot. There are some gunships. There are some flak cannons inbound. And that nuke has now started its trajectory across the map. Team 2, how's the nuke? Anti-nuke loading. It is not. Stop assisting the nuke. Assist the SMD. I mean, had it been assisted, it might have been enough. It's not great. That nuke is going to land. Team 2's Battlefront's going to really feel that in the morning. Looks like that restore ball falls back. Colossus has been defeated. Second one replaces the first one. Now we're just seeing grouping up of land units now here for Azuros and for Knightley, pumping out a lot of his Harbingers to boot. The benefit, of course, of the Harbingers is they can reclaim, which is super beneficial in this case, considering there's all this reclaim up here. There goes the nuke. It does land. Kaboom! Takes out a nuke launcher, takes out an SMB, takes out none of the core mass, but all of the PGens, all of the air grid, everything is gone. That has got to hurt. Team 1, at this point, all they have to do is wipe out Cheerios' remaining ASFs, and that is air supremacy at this point, especially with that gunship ball. That is looking very dangerous. How's that nuke loading? Killed off 72,000 mass, so that's a really, really, really good nuke. Sometimes I've seen games where it takes 2 to 3 nukes to get to that mass killed. So 72,000 with one nuke, definitely a really good nuke. We do see these Perseus going after another Colossus, and I don't understand this. We've seen multiple Colossus go down to all of these Perseus. Team 1's, I don't know why he's throwing them kind of, not necessarily willy-nilly, but I mean, yeah, you can kill off a chunk of those Perseus here for Team 2, but look at this damage. It's just not really worth it. This one almost going to get to 2-star veterancy, though. Oh, it does get the 2-star veterancy, gets back in the yellow, then drops right back into the red. There are some bricks and Harbingers over here, but once these Perseus are done with this Colossus, they're going to just turn back around and go after these bricks and these Harbingers. The main issue, though, is that now it just adds more mass to this field. Of course, it does kill some of the wrecks, or destroy all the mass in those wrecks, but I just don't see the one Colossus push. See, there's another one down. Oh, that's a megalith, but still only one megalith, no support. Maybe there's a couple bricks up here. No AA, no nothing. Not even some bricks. I mean, just next door to it. It's just kind of hanging out. We do see restorers pushing into the south. A large group of bricks, and now a monkey pushing in. Titans and Perseus moving to intercept. And this restore ball is coming close. This is a lot of restorers. Some of them just really going to have a fun time with that land army over here. This is definitely one of those air v ground games where, again, like I said, one team has one field of war, one team has the other field of war, and it's just a matter of time. Here they come. They are inbound. I hear the Flight of the Valkyries or something in my head. The dun da 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 da. Or what? Not that's not the right song. What's the? Oh shoot! How does that song go again? Oh, I forgot how that song goes. Oh, maybe that is. No, maybe that is the song. Whenever I hear that song, I think of there's a show. They did a show for Emperor's New Groove. I think it's like Emperor's New School or something. It's like Cusco Allegiance, Cusco Allegiance, Cusco Allegiance, States Today, something like that. I think that is Flight of the Valkyries, but that's whenever when I think of Flight of the Valkyries, for some reason, that's what pops in my head. It's essentially a parody of that song. Or a cover, depending on. No, it's more of a parody than a cover, because a cover would be the same lyrics, just different style. Another Colossus with not really a lot of support around it. There are a decent amount of engineers and now fervors being used for cannon fodder to distract the Perseus, which is a good use, to be fair, because the Perseus, again, don't have good fire rate, so if you're able to distract 1 or 2 shots, that can make a difference. But now look at this. Another Colossus going to die. That's another, what, 15,000 mass. The brick down here force is going to be able to support this megalith, though, so that's really good. And it will be able to finish off most of those T3 units. But Team 2 has probably scooped up so much mass. Look at that. 420,000 mass reclaimed. Team 1 at almost half that at 220. Down here in the south, Monkey running through this position here for Cheerios. Not really feeling well after that. There are some Percys trying to intercept, which might catch up. Wall sections control Cade. He wants him to go into the water. Don't really know why. I think he would walk over them anyways. There are some wall sections destroyed over here. Don't really know what that's about. His comm's in the water, though, and now we see that Monkey Lord is targeting him just passively. Oh, the remaining ASFs here for Cheerios think about going for those restorers, but think better of it. 120 gunships, 127 to be exact, online second. Square highlighted icon, big ticket item for Team 1. It is an artillery. So we have a nuke that is not really being loaded, but it's still being passively loaded. And the emissary, the best artillery in the game, is online. Air fight does occur going after those restorers. Is it going to be enough, though? There's so much AA on board. All of those restorers isn't even going to be worth it. We do see most of the ASFs have been dealt with from RNA. He shifted mainly to restore production. But look at all those yellow icons just throwing everything they have at all these ASFs for Cheerios. It's not probably going to be worth it. Some ASFs do remain, but we talked about RNA having 120 or so. Still has 120 or so. Mainly what that did was kill off all the ASF support. We do see Chicken is in the base, or Chicken makes a comment about this Monkey Lord down here. Turns around. That's probably not the best thing that Monkey Lord could have done, because now that's now inbound. That's not going to feel good. That Monkey Lord will kill a couple of those Percys off. To be fair, the Monkey Lord is sitting at 50% more of its HP because it is at 5-star veterancy, so it would have already pretty much died by now. But the gunships from Team 2's Azuros come in and pretty much will force the Monkey Lord to either go back in the water or die. In this case, it is going to be die. But Battlefront has not started. Oh, I guess he's shifted over here, but didn't go back to his old haunt and go for rebuilding those mexes or air facilities. Of course, there is an SMD over here, so, and there's one right here, so that's probably why he shifted that direction. Does look like the incoming green wave is inbound in the south. Look at all these Titans pushing in. It looks like Azuros going for rapid response units first. Both crabs diverted from the middle, moving south, but now it gives Azuros a lot of leeway to push in his forces even closer. In the north, we do see a little bit of pushback here from Nightly as well. Artillery looks like it's going after the satellites that are being built for Azuros. Oh, will it shield in time? Yes, it will. Artillery will land. Impact on that shield in particular. He needs more P-gens, and he needs more shields, and he needs more everything. Looks like he's he's really struggling on power, so he needs to get more of those online. Team 2 has those satellites, and how much work are they getting done? Not a whole lot, but they are forcing, of course, RNA to focus a little bit more on shield production. They did take out a couple of some P-gens up here, and they actually will reclaim that one by accident probably. They don't want it to volatile explode on him, but they will lose it. That's something. It has a lot of power, though, so not really a concern there. Looks like some shots not going for Nightly's base. He's producing more and more Colossi all the time. Just the wave of engineers for Azuros probably sitting at 150, maybe 200. No, 291. Just 291 T1 engineers, you know. No, not a huge number, you know. It's not like he has 500 of them or anything. In the south, the two crabs, one of them diverts for the Percys, one of them diverts for the Titans that just steamroll through, going after T3 mexes for Chicken. The income for Team 1 and Team 2, roughly about the same, 1.6, 1.7. There are mexes being taken offline, so that number has technically shifted in Team 2's direction. Airfight occurs once again, but still that Restore Ball is deadly. Azuros, where is your AA? You've known about this Restore Ball for a while. He does have a Chicken online finally at 42 minutes. I feel like he could have gone for Chickens a lot earlier, but I guess he wanted to focus on his Percy game, which is fine because I love watching just hordes of Percys steamroll everything. It's very entertaining for me. At least that's my opinion. Of course, there might be other people watching that don't have that opinion. We do see an attack in the south there from Chicken. Lots of T2PD, Percy's, and Stingers moving in to intercept the brick push. Unfortunately, even if the bricks deal with some of these triads, it's not really going to get a lot of work done. We do see a mass FAF forming. Line has been established here by Cheerios. And again, the only issue I have with this is that, oh, they're not that close. Okay, they're not too bad. I was going to say if they were ringed with other things, it would just be a cascade effect, but they're ringed with storages, so they're not cascadable or volatile. They're just storages. Again, you can see just slowly but surely the territory gains for Team 2 on the land side of things very big. The issue that they have, though, is that Team 1 has a nuke, they have an artillery, they have a lot of restorers. I feel like this restore ball could be enough to wipe out somebody in the game. And if they do that, at that point, they'd be at a better advantage to go after the rest of the things on land. Colossus trying to just get past. It's not going to make it. It's losing too many hit points. We do see, of course, the only downside is with having so many units, not all of them are able to actually like get close to the target in question. Yeah, it's not making it. Already drops in the red. Yeah, there's no way. So that Colossus tried to run by, but did not work, unfortunately. We do see 4 Colossus holding position, though, and all of these units completely avoiding this group of Colossi, going to go for this position. This is where the Colossus have been stockpiling themselves, being built. Second emissary is coming online, just been started a couple of moments ago. And we do see the Colossus now going to charge. The Chicken moving in, of course, going to essentially die on top of all of these experimentals, do some ion damage. But now these Percys get into this Colossus producing facility. Unfortunately, of course, Colossus that they were building does finish, but the damage is essentially done. The SMD goes offline. 2 satellites overhead will help with that, of course. And the Percy's just ripping apart those hit points. Shield comes online for a brief moment. Most of those shots, don't even worry about it because the shield isn't even shielding that Colossus. Tons of engineers. This is where all the Colossus are focusing, and they're missing this huge threat of Percy's in the north. A large wave of Harbingers and a Colossus is inbound. Here come the Restorers from Team 1's RNA. This is just, it's interesting watching this fight. Essentially just a land versus air game. That's so many, that is so many gunships. The wave of Percy's, it will do a lot of damage, and Chicken will lose a decent amount of infrastructure. There's just not as much AA as I expect to see in this army, considering Team 2 has known about the gunship threat for so long. We do see some gunships inbound for RNA. Not RNA, sorry, Azuros, the other player that starts with an A in this game. A lot of them being wiped out by those SAM sites. But they are going to make it to the main, one of the main bases for Chicken, going after the T3 land headquarters down here for the Siren side of things. And they will grab it, and they'll probably go after the Pigeons. There is an artillery being built. Oh, go back, go back. There's one right there. Go back. It's right there. It probably just goes down to a lack of... well, you can technically see it, but that just goes down to a lack of probably intel. More facilities being taken offline. The ASF's coming to wipe all that out. Shield built to protect that artillery investment. That's definitely unfortunate for Azuros, but he probably just didn't see it. Look at this just wave of nonsense inbound from him and from Knightley, just pumping out stuff constantly. Third satellite is online. Looks like he's going to go for more P-gens. Probably needs some more... I mean, he's positive. It's not great, but he's still positive, so that's better than nothing. Definitely needs more shields, which he is going for. Good to see him go for that. How's that second artillery doing? It is now halfway done. Just barely over halfway done. Looks like they're going for more Colossus, though. Want to protect their investment in the Pigeon air facility nuke game. Speaking of the nuke, still isn't reloaded once more, but I'm surprised that they haven't done that. It would have really opened the door for some land engagements had they done so. Talking about Battlefront's making comment about trying to do air, land, and nuke. That's right, air and land versus 2 players with nuke. We do see in the northeast just more Colossus spammed up here for Knightley. Kind of surprised he isn't trying to fight back with any of his own artillery. Same thing here from Azuros, not trying to do any sort of that. Oh, okay. Well, to be fair, he is building that. So there's that. So as long as he can keep that under wraps, which he hasn't yet. Like, if you hover over it, you can see it. But so far, it hasn't been pinged by Team 1. It's just hasn't been noticed. Artillery is online in the south here for Chick, and that's 2 artillery, soon to be 3 for Team 1 with the one that RNA is building. We do see that the satellites are going after the PGen facilities here for Chicken, really trying to snipe at his energy reserves, which he is dropping quite considerably at this point. Regen, oh, they regen it. Sorry, they reclaim it, then they regen it, or repair it. Shields being built to try to repair it and go, nope. That one explodes, kills off a couple of engineers. Oh, will they get the emitter online? Yes, they will, just barely. But this facility is taking probably a decent amount of Chicken's APM. He has 6 experimentals under his control. Now steamrolling Azuros' position. This is pushing a huge amount of this momentum back. We do see that, of course, a couple of Colossi falling back to intercept, and another Colossus inbound from Chicken pushing forward as well. Team 2's Azuro sitting at 1.3k mass income, and as kind of a perspective on that, Team 1 is producing 1.5k in total. So Azuros is almost producing more mass than the entirety of Team 1. But now the artillery is online. Nuke is online. That's from Team 1. Looks like they're going for maybe this position. SMD loses its shield coverage, and if this is taken offline, that's not going to feel good. There is another SMD, though, and that one is loaded. Where is this nuke going? Looks like it's going for the satellites. There is no SMD coverage. Oh, no. Oh, no. There is no, there's no SMD coverage on the way there. There's nothing. That's not going to feel good. That's not going to feel good. Oh, there is an artillery being built by Chicken here, and the shield will fall. I don't think. Oh no, the PGen will be saved. Oh, there it goes. The engineers are trying to flee. They're trying to build an SMD, but it's way too late. All of them are going to go up. Boom! Oh look, 2 engineers made it, just barely. But that's 3 satellites, decent amount of PGens. That's going to drop his energy reserves. Oh, not terribly. He got those up very high. But what's the mass killed off now? 255,000 mass. It started off with 72,000, so that's over 170,000 mass killed with 1 nuke. Definitely paid for itself, and a lot of them sums. We do see these Percys actually get in and take out the artillery in the south. Either they walked there or they got transported there, which makes me think probably walked there because I don't see a transport nearby. And there's a decent amount of T3, so that does make me think they just walked. Yeah, they could have easily just walked that way. That's a great grab by Azuros. That's now 1 artillery online for Team 1. Still have a nuke, though. They have 1 artillery. Scathis has been started by RNA. It's going to be a while before that finishes. 49 minutes on the clock. The artillery is a little over half done now. Colossus built. Nuke being loaded now extensively by RNA to really maximize the SMD, or sorry, maximize the fact that Team 2 doesn't really have that many SMDs. We do see Chicken has been built. More Chickens being built. The Yolana Oz experimental missile launcher is over half done, and looks like the focus is now on Chickens, given the fact that 1, 2, 3 Colossi, 1 monkey, 1 crab, and a partridge and a pear tree are bearing down on his front door. And of course, there is that ball of ASFs inbound. Where's that restore ball? It's down here. And there's a lot of Percys, but there's not that many in terms of how many you would need to deal with a threat of that magnitude. So essentially, he's just buying time. This second chicken and the third chicken, I feel like if he gets 2 more chickens, this one and maybe that one online, it will be enough. At least hold off. There are more gunships, but those are going to get wiped out. Do we have any support from Knightley? We do, and he's just charging them forward here in the north, or from the north. There is a monkey. That's not going to last very long. Another Colossus, another 1, 2, 3, 4 Colossi. There's one over here. That's going to be a win for possibly Team 2. The Colossus just continue to bear down forward, though. Do they know about the YOLO? Oh, they can still see it, but it isn't obviously been pinged. Looks like it's just going to be a base assassination at this point. The only downside with this is it does work in Azuros' favor. Airfight does occur, but of course the Restore Ball going to kind of nullify most of that. This Colossus almost dead. This Colossus is in the yellow. This monkey is almost dead. Percy's about to kill that off. Chicken trying to get into the middle of these experimentals. This Colossus veers northward, so that's going to help. And the Restorers are inbound. They will notice the YOLO being built if they haven't already, and they'll probably kill it off at this point. Ion Storm does activate, almost kills off the monkey, but it staves off death. This Colossus will die. This Colossus is actually holding a Percy to let him fire at the thing. And looks like the Pigeons are the main target for all of these Restorers. And AA being spammed up as quickly as possible. They are T2, it looks like. And most of those Pigeons go offline. There goes the attack on the AA now. And still the YOLO's alive. Oh, and it's gone. Never mind. Oh. Looks like they're worried more about the flak cannons, which, to be fair, flak with gunships is deadly. And the YOLO, if you were hoping to see it in this game, at least this one, is dead. This base for Azuros is pretty much gone. And now we see a really interesting thing happen where now the north side for Team 1 is not doing very well. The middle for Team 2 is just being wiped out. I feel like those gunships could have done that 20 minutes ago. Thank you, Bafron, for making the comment that I did where I'm like, I think the gunships could just wipe out a base or a player at this point. We see the Colossus bearing down the door on an artillery, but there are some defenses online, but I don't think they're going to last very much longer. And that crab is actually going to crash land on a couple of engineers. Shield was immediately built and then depleted, it looked like. And now this base here for Chicken is going down. Essentially the same base that Azuros had is going up. And now this Restore is going after all of the P-gens for Azuros, just wiping him off the board in that regard. Mavor has been started and is half done. Decent amount of shieldings around that. We do see some AA, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Oh, that's going to be a dead T4 artillery installation being built. P-gen explodes, kills off an emitter. This P-gen's going to explode, killing off that one. That's going to finish off this Mavor. There it goes. It's gone. Lots of flak was built. It will deal with most of those Restorers now, but that's really got to hurt. Team 2 were built. They should have really focused on one, to be fair. We had one player building a T4 artillery. One was building a T4 nuke launcher. And I feel like the amount of work that was put into both of those could have finished one of them, because both of them were about at the midpoint for yellow, like in terms of hit points. So it could have been a finished T4 game ender, but it was not. In the west, Scathis has been abandoned. Don't really see that being built, considering the fact that there are 1, 2, 3 Colossus inbound. There are 4 Colossus for Chicken, though, trying to intercept those ones. ASF's falling back to just protect. I don't know what they're protecting because there's no gunships left. There is that Colossus, though, that's ripping apart this base for Azuros in the south. Lots of dead Restorers. What's the mass reclaim? 794,000. Team 1, 500,000. Lots of mass reclaim. Looks like some Ravagers going to be built. That will probably finish off this Colossus. It might, but it might just dip back into the water. Large army still coming in from the north and the west, and now the crab ripping apart the rest of Azuros' base. The only base that's really still alive is Knightly's. Explosion does occur. I think it was an SACU, I would assume, given the fact that there's no death messages from anybody. This base here for RNA is gone. Looks like the Colossus moving in to intercept the emissaries. Ooh, this is not going to feel... Oh, looks like there are some SACUs that are going to be wiped out as well. This is not great here for RNA. He loses that base. He loses most of his attack power at this point. We do see possibly P-gen going to be rebuilt. Possibly, but it's going to be a minute. And the base for Azuros is being frontaled, assaulted by this brick force. There is a Chicken trying to chase it. Colossus... Wait, where'd that Colossus go? Oh, it's over here. It's going after all these Mats Fabs for Cheerios. That's not going to feel good. Azuros' comm is there, and Cheerios' comm is there. Some of his base will be fine, but especially with that Chicken coming to assist. We do see a Fat Boy online. 2 of them online for Azuros, in fact. There is a lonely little brick going after a P-gen. Colossus running around. in his base. But here comes the threat. This is going to possibly determine who wins the game. This Colossus determined to stave off this attack from this Colossus, but there's 3 more inbound. Lots of PD being built. All engineers on station just trying to build as much PD as they can. Another line of PD back here. Some of the shield grid taken out, most likely by another Colossus. Yep, that one right there. But this is not going to feel good. Team 1's losing their artillery. And as long as Knightley continues walking forward, that's dead. And then the nuke over here might be dead. There is a Colossus being built right next door, though. There goes the P-Gen. More PD back here. You got to keep walking. You got to keep walking those Colossus. Nuke going to land in his own base. Going to try to stave off the attack and save it. Oh, and it's going to do great because there's not really any travel time. It's going to land right on top, actually a little bit to the west. Oh, it actually had to zoom back. It actually kills off one of those Colossi. Oh, it's only going to be a matter of time. Will they pierce the shielding? Yes, they will. It will kill off the nuke launcher. That's one of the first times I've ever seen a nuke actually curve at an angle like that, because usually it's just a straight down, but because it has a little bit of time to track the target or track the location. Luckily enough for RNA, he saves most of his air grid, but he loses his artillery, loses the second one he was building, loses his nuke. That's gotta hurt. We do see in the base down south, couple of bricks running around, but not really that much of worry. Lots of Percy still kind of running around the map down there as well, saving that. Colossus, where'd that one go? Did it finally get dealt with? Let's see. Where's the... It'd be a giant or more bigger wreck. I don't see it anywhere. Oh, it's over here. There it is, just staring at my face. 175,000 mass killed for that Colossus. Repping up 135 hit points per second. In the south, another attack from those Perseus. Kill off more of those P-Gens. And I think now both teams are kind of just scattered at this point. There's really no cohesive plan about what to do. There's another... Is that another Colossus? There's another Colossus running around the back of Team 2's map. We do see that engineers going for a T3. Air headquarters probably just go for Bronze Swords to deal with that Colossus. But this is really strange. I mean, we had 3 game enders started. One of those 3, particularly either the YOLO or the Mavor, could have been finished had Team 2 focused on one of the 2. I think in this instance, the Mavor would have been better only because there wasn't that much SMD coverage and Team 1 wasn't prepared for, obviously there's no SMD coverage to prepare for the YOLO, so it would have been probably the better thing, and due to the fact that you can load those nukes very quickly with enough support. The Colossus is going for Knightley's base, so just every main base has been assaulted this game, and still the game goes on. I will let you know that there's probably another 10 minutes or so of game. 10 minutes or so. I think it's like 13, like 1:10 that I think it ends. I'm going to speed it up to +2 because there's really just nothing going on. Crab in the base over here for Chicken. Going to take out some more defenders, but now there's more Titans being spammed up very, very quickly, though. And they'll deal with that. Crab, lots of mass reclaimed. Almost 1 million mass will be reclaimed by Team 2 by the end of it. Almost probably 700,000 for Team 1, I just guessed based on projections in my head. So yeah, that Colossus has now come back to the mainland, or the other side of the mainland, I should say. And that Colossus is going to go down. We'll take out a T2 or T3 Max, one of the 2. T2 Max, sorry, T3 Max. And now we see the ASFs behind the ASFs for Team 2, for Team 1. 3 Colossi, just more and more Colossi being taken out all the time. Team 1 bombers on approach, going after this Colossus on the western edge. The base here for Chicken somehow still alive. And now a Scathus has been started once again. Going to produce, I think, Monkey Lords instead of the Scathus. But, you know, could go for the Scathus at this point. I don't think it's really being focused down by Team 2. So it's, or at least that side of the map is. You would think that Team 2 would just entirely wipe out the southern edge and not even have to worry about it and then move north. But looks like they're focused on other things. Azuros looks like he's throwing... Oh, be back in a few minutes. So he's not going to throw in the towel or depart or whatever, or at least in terms of the game. He just probably had to go answer the door, let his dog out, get some pizza, get some caffeine or something. That won't take him very long. Both of the comms for Team 1 are in the northwestern corner of the map here, underneath some water, or in some water. A couple of SMDs in the base. A Paragon has been started, so we have technically seen all 4 game enders in this game. None of them have been built. Unlike other games where we've seen either all 4 built or most of them built, none of them so far have been built. And if the trend continues, I highly doubt that Paragon's going to finish. That's just my 2 cents. I have not seen who wins the game. I just know that, of course, there's no desync issues or anything like that, or desyncs that would cause issues or discrepancies of who would win the game. Because there are some matches where desyncs happen 2 or 3, 5 minutes before the match is over, and at that point, you kind of can tell who wins the game. We do see T3 land headquarters is going to go offline. Most likely, Harmage is going after all of the support. Crab moving in to intercept. The Colossus not taking that out. Just going to be satisfied with dealing some damage to the Crab. Lots of T1 bombers overhead, though. There's 3 more Colossi down here, though, and they wipe out all those units down there. Cheerios now sitting at 700 mass income. Team 2 and Team 1 producing less than 1,000 mass at 1 hour plus. That is how much mass has been destroyed in terms of income. Team 2 was producing 2.5k at their highest income. Maybe it was 2.7. They're not even producing one. Okay, they're kind of dipping back into 1k territory now. But that's a huge amount of mass to be down, air quotes, at this stage in the game in terms of what you were producing versus what you're now producing. Stingers wiping out a Monkey Lord. Wish these were broadswords because they're the better unit, but of course the Stingers are cheaper, so that is something. Monkey Lord is going to make it into the water, though. It will drop into the red before it does, but looks like it'll make it with 3,000 hit points, but once it emerges, it's dead. So essentially that Monkey Lord's been null and void for now. Air fight happens once again. Don't really know who's going to win that fight. Looks like Cheerios is going to lose it. Not by much, though. Looks like he will lose it probably to about 30 or so. 46. So Team 1 has air dominance, kind of. There's more ASFs inbound, though. We do see a large amount of Team 1 bombers just harassing these Colossi, though. Team 2 needs some... Oh, look, there's some flak and some AA over here. Look at that. ASF's moving in to clean up the skies, though. That Colossus will probably die to all of the Team 1 bombers. That's going to hurt. There it goes. I was going to say, does it survive with like 300 hit points or something? Colossus breaking through defenses here for Nightly, but unfortunately there is 2 Colossi en route with some Harbingers. Actually, they're not chasing. Oh, there goes the Colossus. Okay, there's the laser. And there it goes. No, there's satellites. Sorry, more satellites have been built. Looks like Azuris gets everything back from his teammate of Cheerios. He's back in the game. Still a 3v2. We've had a lot of people. We had half the players die very quickly, and then no one has died ever since. T1 bomber spam down in the south, going after all of the Myrmidon T3AA SAM launchers, and they're just dying. Look at this. They're just coming in to die, drop their payloads, and call it a day. Monkey comes back out of the... Is that a different... Okay, that has to be... There's no way that thing repped up all of its hit points that quickly. That has to be a different monkey. Oh, yeah. This is that monkey right there. Look at that. And the monkey goes, oh, I'm in the water. I'm being distracting. And then there it goes. Looks like all the gunships are over here. And now it's just a reverse of what happened earlier in the game where Team 1 had a bunch of gunships and Team 2 didn't have AA. And now Team 2 has a bunch of gunships and Team 1 doesn't have AA. I think I might have said that backwards. But you get what I mean. You watch the game. If you've watched the video at this point, I really do appreciate it. It's over an hour of the recording. At least that I can see in the corner. Not that it's going to be an hour. I have to do little snippets at the beginning and that sort of thing. But pretty much it's going to be an over-hour video. It is going to be an epic. And it's like it had all of its steam up to about an hour. And then essentially when it reached like 58 minutes or so, it's been kind of slow. Which is why it's still at... No, okay, I'll move it up to +1. We do see the Colossus have breached the main base here for Team 1. And yes, the Paragon does not finish. And these Colossi gonna probably wipe out the rest of this air grid. This Colossus will probably die. Oh, nope, it doesn't die, but it probably will die to the PD, though. SMD falls offline. Another Colossus is built. And how's RNA's energy going? Oh, he's still highly positive. But even, oh, the crash damage is going to kill that P-Gen. There it goes. And this Colossus will probably survive. Maybe. Oh, the Paragon's being built. Looks like all of the engineers are being the main target for this Colossus, but it's just going to destroy that quantum gateway there. Chicken pings over there for some reason. Don't really know what that's about. Gunships ripping apart a Monkey Lord. Not going to make it in the water like its brethren did. There it goes. Wandered way too far out of safety. There it goes. Look at this bomber. Just the line just constantly wipe out all of the AA. Scathis still hasn't really been focused on. It's more of those like, oh, a Scathis would be nice, and then no one focuses on it. Look, like there's another one over there. We've seen 1, 2, 3 Scathi be started, and nothing's been finished. 512,000 mass. Cheerios, you have. Oh, sorry, that's Nightly's. Yeah, 512. Cheerios has 662,000 mass. Reclaim 1.6 million for Team 2. 900,000 for Team 1. Look, everyone's like, look at the reclaim. This is nuts. Oh, man. So many units died. So many units died this game. That is nuts. Team 2, 1.3K. Team 1, 1.1. And at this point in the game, I think Team 2 wins it. I mean, obviously, I can see the Percys are inbound. Actually, a lot of Percys died of that crash damage from that Colossus, to be fair. But once these Percys make it, there's a decent amount of PD, but they'll probably rip apart that Colossus. There's not that much of an air grid left. Lots of Team D to protect the comms from possible Billy nukes, I would assume. There's 2 Fat Boys in the middle, 4 Colossus. This match is still going on. I'm going to speed it up to +2 again because I feel like it's kind of dragging on. It's like the song that never ends. It's kind of like, okay, at some point, either somebody leaves the game, forfeits, that sort of thing. Colossus does die. This Colossus is about to stand up. Crash damage kills off more Percys. That Colossus does stand up. And it's still a Colossus over there for RNA. Does somebody complete a game ender that I just don't know about? Is hold on, let me look down here. Is Team 2? Hey, there it is. 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 10 seconds. T4 Maver UEF technology artillery piece is online. Zeros makes a comment about the comm. Yeah, they're both up there. He sees the comm in the water. Satellites overhead. Take out all of the P-gens. There goes another one. RNA's energy reserve still positive. And Chickens, how's Chickens reserves? Not great. It's still positive, but not by much. The Paragon has been ignored. The Scathis, how's it going down here? Scathis is almost in the yellow. Stingers come in and wipe out most of the mass income here for Chicken. Down here, Scathis is being reclaimed, and it's probably being shoved over there. Looks like the bomber threat has been destroyed by Team 1's Chickens and AA presence. And the Maver, it's not, that monkey is not breaking through. There's a lot of Percys nearby. It's not going anywhere. Mavor has now been firing its shells, landing on this side of the map. Paragon is now being reclaimed as we speak. And I wonder what it's being thrown together with. What's the... Oh, and there it goes. Nuke launches. Team 2 launches a nuke. From where? Oh, it's over here. Stone Anger has been built. And I think he's going to snipe both the commanders at this point. I think that's what he's doing. It's going to be a 2-for-1 kill. I can only go to +3. Mavor shots landing. The Mavor didn't end the game. It was a nice touch to see. But the nuke is going to end the game. Because the SMD was already killed. There goes the nuke. Does it kill both the commanders? Yes, it does. Boom, and that's how you end the game. Team 2 wins it 1 hour 11 minutes and 3 seconds. You couldn't have ended it 3 seconds early to be an even 1-11. But MVP for this game, I mean, the fact that all of these players played for this long, this kind of game, I mean, I'm going to give everybody honorary MVPs just because that game was nuts in terms of how long it went for, how many units were built in terms of T3, T4 units. We saw all 4 game enders started at some point. One was finished. It didn't even really matter that it was finished. Nuke was also built for Cheerios. We saw nukes. It was just a ton of land and air army. I do think the one criticism, and Balfron even mentioned it, Team 1's RNA had over 100 restorers, didn't use them to go after anybody until that one push with the ground and the YOLO and the whatnot. Huge missed opportunity. I think the game would have ended way earlier if that was the case in Team 1's favor, because you probably would have wiped out. I would have gone after Knightley up here and then kind of worked my way down south, because it felt like the air player, I mean, it would, I don't know. I feel like Knightley was an easier target to go after. There wasn't as much AA built. I mean, he was building a decent amount of flak later, but not when RNA had over 100 restorers to play with. I don't really know if they just didn't want to wipe out the game at that early. They wanted to play for longer. I have no idea. But that is my one criticism. Battlefront, like I said, pointed it out. Could have used those restorers way, way early. But again, let me know if you enjoyed the game down in the comments. I sure did. It felt like it did drag on after that, essentially the death of everything at 50-something minutes, whatever it was. But again, thank you so much for watching to the very end of the video. And of course, if you made it this far in the video, hopefully your sanity still exists. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching. And as always, I will see all of you in the next one.